host of the Gridiron.
Keep Malik from entering the dark side, the dark giant's path. There's basically, it's kind of like one stud receiver, right, from the past, giving some good, valuable information to an upcoming stud, right? Good old Malik. One thing I was not overly impressed with, but I mean, obviously, it ain't nobody listening to me or anything like that, was when I guess after he signed his contract or whatever, somebody had him. He went to a strip club with a bunch of his friends and stuff like that. And he just took out, it was probably all ones, I'm thinking. I don't know. But just going out there and just taking money and just, taking the rubber bands off and just throwing money around. You know what I mean? But hopefully, right? Hopefully Victor can give some nice advice to Malik. Keep him off the dark giant's path. Victor Cruz was a terrific and charismatic wide receiver for the Giants, and he is also a franchise icon, and only partly because of his famed and fabulous salsa touchdown celebration dance. Cruz is a forever Giants legend because he was an integral contributor for a Super Bowl championship team. And that is the main reason why he arrived in Bavaria's capital as a goodwill ambassador for the only NFL team he ever suited up for, and received a hero's welcome at an event at Hofbrauhaus, a sprawling and historic pub that turned into a Giants fan hangout in the days leading up to Sunday's game with the Panthers. So when Cruz speaks about the new kid on the block, rookie Malik Nabers, the words carry weight from someone who excelled at the position and carved out a place for himself as one of the most popular former players the team has ever produced. Absolutely. Cruz and Nabers have spoken a handful of times, Cruz said, and an impression has already been made. I think he's a great kid, first and foremost, Cruz said. I think he understands the gravity that's put on his shoulders, kind of coming in and being wide receiver number one almost immediately. That's not easy for a young kid to come into that type of atmosphere, especially in New York City. So I think he's handling that with grace, and he's doing that very well. Nabers is only 21. He's struggling handling all the losing with grace. He is tied with Jamar Chase for third in the league with 55 receptions, only behind Garrett Wilson with 60. And Brock Bowers with 57. However, Nabers, though, has only played in 7 games. He missed 2, obviously, with a concussion, while the other 3 more prolific pass catchers all played in 9 games. So had Nabers played in 2 more games, if he played in 9 games, like as Wilson had, what Bowers had, as Chase had, quite possibly Nabers would be leading the NFL in receptions. So Nabers is on a game-by-game basis the most targeted and productive player of all the top guys. Yes, he is, for a crappy offense. Giants are 2-7, and it's clearly weighing in on Nabers. After last week's 27-22 loss to the Commanders, Nabers admitted it's as frustrating as it gets. He then was not exactly supportive of head coach and play caller Brian Daboll approach on offense with a run-heavy first half. Oh, yeah, I mean, he threw 6 passes in the first half. Yeah, I'm sure he was not much in favor of that. That's for sure. This could be trending on a slippery slope. Cruz 37 understands that what he believes is going on in Nabers' head, but he cautions against allowing it to take him down a dark path as far as how he views the offense, the coaching staff, and the entire operation. I think it's natural for him to get a little frustrated as a player, given the team and where we are right now at this point, Cruz said. Obviously, missing 2 games, understanding his competitive nature, he wants to be out there, wants to compete, wants to be in games so he can go out there and win them and be part of the winning culture. but I think he has to understand it takes time. It takes time to gel. It takes timing for him to be around the right staff and the right team and the right situation. I think he is. Let's see. That's easier, obviously, said than done. Neighbors seem to be in fine spirits after the long flight. He said he has been buoyed after games earlier this season by supportive words from Browns star defensive end Myles Garrett and Commanders linebacker Bobby Wagner. So likely, oh my God, likely a future Hall of Famer. Are you kidding me, dude? If Myles Garrett and Bobby Wagner ain't future Hall of Famers, I mean, they might as well just knock down the Hall of Fame. But anyway, he said that they told him he was a great player, but he was rushing himself on the field. They felt like I was just tensed up, Neighbors said. They said, just relax when you're out there on the field and just be who you are. Neighbors with 557 receiving yards will have to pick up the pace in a big way to get close to Cruz's single-season franchise record set in 2011, 1,536. Well, he's not doing that this year. Maybe some year, if we get a good quarterback, right, and a more explosive offense, more explosive players around Neighbors, which will open up everything, right? Neighbors can quite possibly beat Cruz's record of 1,536 receiving yards in a single season. I know I've been doing the right things out there on the field, but I still feel like I've got a lot left that needs to be handled, Neighbors said. I'm not where I want to be right now. I'm not finished. I never even got started. The Giants unretired Ray Flowers number one. I still don't agree with that, but and Neighbors looks like an immense talent, but that does not mean he is immune to some vexation as he continues his NFL career. So, yeah, I mean, that's another one of the things, especially when somebody like him is used to all the success, right, that he's had, especially, I'm sure what he's had prior, especially in the collegiate ranks, the wins, the yards, the touchdown, the people going crazy, Then you come to the NFL, and it's like, a lot of times when you get drafted high, you're drafted by a crappy team, and sometimes one guy can't turn the whole thing around, right? So it might take a little bit of time. So when you come to a crappy team, you don't get as much production as you like. When there's not as much fanfare or excitement or wins and all of that as you like, things can start getting a little, I guess, turn you down a dark side, a dark path. Especially if you're a young kid, big city, things can happen. There's a lot of things can happen. A lot of wonderful things can happen in New York City, but there's unfortunately a lot of bad out there as well too. Some people want to be your friends who are, shouldn't be anywhere within a mile of them. Especially if they know somebody who has money like he does. So hopefully, you need to choose the people that you're around, choose the people you hang out with, choose the people you listen to, you talk to, you're friends with, and all that stuff and everything. Deion Sanders, a lot of people say this, but I think one of Deion Sanders expressed it really well. He said, if you're in a room, right, and with a bunch of people, and if you're the smartest person in that room, you're in the wrong room. If you're in a room with a bunch of people and you're the most successful person in that room, you're in the wrong room. If you're in a room with a bunch of people and you're the wealthiest person, you're in the wrong room. So you want to be listening to people, talking to people, hanging out with people who are smarter, more successful, more money. Right. Going back and hanging out with a bunch of okay, don't forget where you came from and all that too. But I mean, if your trajectory is going up like this, right? If that's what you want for yourself for the rest of your life, if you want your trajectory going like this, you can't hang out with people that are down here. You need to hang out with people up here. Doesn't mean you can't talk to these people every now and then or something like that, but whatever. 75, 80% of your time spent talking to people, listening to people, hanging out with people need to be the people up here. The other 10, 20% can be, your friends or whatever like that. But the more you're hanging out with people down here, the worse you are. Because they're down here, they're going to keep you down there, right? And they're not going to let you flourish and get up there, right? So, who to hang out with. And sometimes, obviously, it's, when you're young, he's only 21. Jeez, God, think about that, right? It's it can be overwhelming. But one thing, you kind of, obviously we have, what do you call it? A lot of losses, right? Shall I say? And it's not easy. But, one thing that, I can at least kind of say with Shane and all and everything is that, he does try to at least get some good people in the locker room, right? And as I said, it's maybe not producing wins on the field, but, get good, decent people in the locker room. And that would be something huge for Malik to hang out with.